Now, I'm going to ask questions about Jane and Anne. Are Jane and Anne overweight?
Jane and Anne aren't overweight.
No, Jane and Anne aren't overweight. Are they slim?
Yes, they're slim.
Yes, they're slim. Are they slim or overweight?
They're slim.
They're slim. Two years ago, were they slim?
2 years ago, they were slim.
No,
They
weren't
actually
slim
overweight.
2 years ago. 2 years ago, were they slim or overweight?
2 years ago, they were overweight.
2 years ago, they were overweight. Are they still overweight now?
No, they are no longer overweight
No,
now.
they aren't. Now, they're no longer overweight. Did they used to be overweight?
Yes, they used to be overweight.
Yes,
that's correct.
They used to be overweight.
They used to be overweight.
When were they overweight?
They were overweight 2 years
They
ago.
were overweight 2 years ago. Were Jane and Anne both overweight?
2 years ago, Jane and Anne were both overweight.
Yes, that's correct. 2 years ago, Jane and Anne were both overweight. Were they equally overweight?
No, they were equally overweight. One of them was more overweight than the other.
They weren't equally overweight. One of them was more overweight than the other. Was Anne more overweight than Jane?
No, Anne was more overweight than
Anne wasn't
Jane.
more overweight than Jane. Who was more overweight than the other?
Jane was more overweight than Anne.
Jane was more overweight than Anne. Were Jane a little overweight or very overweight?
Well, Jane was
very overweight. What about Anne? Was Anne a little overweight or very overweight?
Well, Anne was a little overweight.
Anne was a little overweight. Tell me again, who was more overweight than the other?
Well, Jane was
more overweight than Anne. Is Jane still overweight?
No, Jane is no longer overweight.
No, Jane is no longer overweight. Is Anne still overweight?
No, Anne is no longer overweight.
No, Anne is no longer overweight. Did Jane and Anne used to be overweight?
Yes, Jane and Anne used to be overweight.
Yes, Jane and Anne used to be overweight. When were they overweight?
They were overweight 2 years ago.
They were overweight 2 years ago. How overweight were they?
Well, Jane was very overweight.
Well,
and Anne
Jane was
a little
very overweight,
overweight.
And Anne was a little overweight. Now, I'm going to ask questions about Kay and her brother Tom. When Kay and Tom were little, did they think Superman was real?
When Kay and Tom were little, they thought Santa Claus was
No,
real.
They didn't think Superman was real when they were little. Who did they think was real when they were little?
They thought Santa Claus was real when they were little.
When they were little, they thought Santa Claus was real. Did they think zombie was real? No,
No, they
they didn't
didn't
think
think
zombie was
zombies
real.
were real.
Who does it think was real?
They thought Santa Claus was real.
They thought Santa Claus was real. When Tom was a boy, did he have a friend named Nick?
When Tom was a boy, he
Yes,
had a
that's
friend named
correct.
Nick.
When Tom was a boy, he had a friend named Nick. What did Nick tell him one day?
Nick told him that Santa didn't actually exist.
One day, Nick told him
day.
that Santa Claus wasn't real.
One day,
Did
Nick told him
Nick
that
tell him
Santa
that
Claus wasn't
Superman
real.
wasn't real?
No, Nick didn't tell him that Superman was real. Wasn't
No,
real.
Nick didn't tell him that Superman wasn't real. Did Nick tell him that zombies weren't real?
No, Nick didn't tell him that zombies
No, Nick didn't
wasn't
tell him
real.
that zombies weren't real. What did Nick tell him?
What did, Nick told him that Santa Claus wasn't real.
Nick told him that Santa Claus wasn't real. When Tom realized that Santa Claus wasn't real, did he feel angry?
No, he didn't feel angry when
No,
he
that's not how
realized
we felt.
that
When Tom realized that Santa
Santa
wasn't real,
wasn't
he
real.
didn't feel angry. Did he feel embarrassed?
No, he didn't feel embarrassed.
No, he didn't feel embarrassed. How did he feel?
He felt surprised and sad.
He felt surprised and sad at the same time. Who was surprised and sad at the same time?
It was Tom. Tom was surprised and
It
sad
was
at the
Tom.
same time.
Tom was surprised and sad at the same time. When Tom got home that day, what did he do?
When Tom got home that day, he told Kate that Santa Claus didn't actually
When
exist.
Tom got home that day, he told Kate that Santa didn't actually exist. Did he tell Kate that their parents were sick?
No, he didn't tell Kate that their parents were sick.
No, he didn't tell Kate that their parents were sick. Did he tell Kate that ghosts didn't actually exist?
No,
No, he didn't tell Kate that ghosts didn't actually exist. What did he tell Kate?
He told Kate that Santa didn't actually
He told
exist.
Kate that Santa didn't actually exist. When Kate realized that Santa didn't exist, did she laugh?
When Kate realized that Santa didn't actually
No,
exist,
Kate did
then
laugh
she
when she
didn't laugh.
realized that Santa didn't exist. What happened when she realized that Santa didn't exist?
She cried for almost an hour.
When she realized that Santa didn't exist, she cried for almost an hour. Did she cry for just a few minutes?
No, she didn't cry for just a few minutes.
No, she didn't cry for just a few minutes.
Much longer than that.
How long did she cry?
She cried for almost an
She
hour.
cried for almost an hour. Was it Tom who cried for almost an hour?
No, it wasn't Tom who cried for
No, it
almost an
wasn't
hour.
Tom who cried for almost an hour. Who cried for almost an hour? It was Kate. Kate
It's what
cried for almost an
Kate
hour.
cried for almost an hour. Almost an hour.
Now, I'm going to ask questions about two sisters named Grace and Emma. Do Grace and Emma have pets?
Yes, Grace and Emma have pets.
Yes, Grace and Emma have pets. Are their pets dogs?
No,
No,
their pets
their
aren't
pets
dogs.
aren't dogs. Are their pets cats?
No, their pets aren't cats.
No, their pets aren't cats. What kind of animal are their pets?
Their pets are spiders.
Their pets are spiders. How many spiders do they have? They have 3 spiders.
They have 3 spiders.
Do they think their spiders are scary?
No, they don't think their spiders
No,
are
they
scary.
don't think their spiders are scary. What do they think about their spiders?
They think spiders and they think their
Well,
spiders
they
are
think their
cute.
spiders are cute. When Grace and Emma were young, were they afraid of birds?
Yes, and when Grace
No,
and
they
Emma
weren't
were
afraid of
young,
birds when they were young.
no, they weren't afraid of birds when
Were
they
they
were
afraid
young.
of dogs?
No, they weren't afraid of dogs.
No, they weren't afraid of dogs. What were they afraid of?
They were
They
afraid
were
of
afraid of
spiders.
spiders. When they were young, did they think spiders were cute?
No, when they were young, they didn't
No,
think
they didn't think
spiders were
spiders were
cute.
cute when they were young. Did they think spiders were interesting?
No, they didn't think their spiders
No,
are the
they
spider
didn't think
is
spiders were
interesting.
interesting. What did they think about spiders?
They thought spiders were really scary.
They thought spiders were really scary. Who thought spiders were scary?
It was Grace and Emma who thought spiders
Grace
were
and
really
Emma
scary.
thought spiders were scary. Did Grace and Emma watch a cartoon one day?
Yes, Grace and Emma watched a cartoon one day.
Yes, they did. Grace and Emma
Yes,
watched a
they did.
cartoon one day.
Grace and Emma watched a
Was the
cartoon one day.
cartoon about dogs?
No, the cartoon wasn't about dogs.
No, the cartoon wasn't about dogs. Was the cartoon about cats?
No, the cartoon wasn't about cats
No, the cartoon wasn't about cats either.
either.
What was the cartoon about?
The cartoon was about spiders.
The cartoon was about spiders. Were there spiders in the cartoon?
Yes, there were spiders
Yes,
in the
there were
cartoon.
spiders in a cartoon. While watching the cartoon, did they feel bored?
No, while watching the cartoon,
No, they
they
didn't feel
didn't
bored while
feel
watching the
bored.
cartoon. Was the cartoon boring?
No, the cartoon wasn't boring.
No, the cartoon wasn't boring. Was the cartoon funny?
Yes, the cartoon was funny.
Yes, the cartoon was funny. Was the spiders in the cartoon scary?
No, spiders in the cartoon were scary.
No, the spiders in the cartoon weren't scary. Were the spiders in the cartoon cute?
Yes, the spiders in the cartoon were cute.
Yes, the spiders in the cartoon were cute. Before they watched the cartoon, were they afraid of spiders?
Yes, before they watched the cartoon, they were afraid of spiders.
Yes, that's correct. Before they watched the cartoon, they were afraid of spiders. What happened after they watched the cartoon?
After they watched the cartoon, their fear of spiders was completely gone.
After they watched the cartoon, the fear of spider was completely gone. After they watched the cartoon, were they still afraid of spiders?
After they watched the cartoon, they were no longer spiders
No, they weren't.
afraid of spiders.
After they watched the cartoon, they were no longer afraid of spiders.